guys, guess, I don't know if you can see this in the camera. She's got some yellow streaks on her. She decided that she was going to rub up against some lilies. And now she's got pollen stains because she's a crazy cat and can't stay away from shit. Anyway, enough with the not martial arts stuff, right? So I wanted to talk to you about transitional phases and joints. You see, it's about the strength of a structure. You know, in classical architecture and in Euclidean geometry, we create these nice solid shapes. The problem with nice solid shapes is they don't really exist in reality. And the problem also being that as creatures, we cannot form these shapes. They're very rigid shapes, they're non-mobile, and we are meant to move. I mean, this is just pure physics. We're meant to move. And so moving means articulation, and articulation means points of articulation within the structure. You see, if we were nothing but articulation, there would literally be nothing. We'd be like octopi or squids, which, you know, praises Dark Majesty Cthulhu. I don't want to be a squid, but I don't know, actually that might be kind of cool. But anyway, the point is that this is somewhat, I mean, nothing is truly universal, but this is relatively universal. This is a very widespread phenomenon and something that you can count on for the most part. And that is that in any armor, in any structure, any articulate structure at least, especially human or creature structure, the weakest points are the joints. In fact, if you look at the way our muscles build, we don't build that much around the joints, and it takes a lot of very high intensity work to develop the joints into something stronger. Now, just like that, you know, with armor and with other articulating things, there are ways to reinforce joints so that they're still mobile and do what they need to do and take less damage. Of course, you know, there are definitely varying degrees, but the point is you can count on the joints being the weaker part of the machine. And I was explaining this idea to my younger Kung Fu brother in class last week, and I was referring to it in Chi Sao practice. For those of you who don't know, Chi Sao is sticky hands. It's a sensitivity drill first and foremost, timing, structure, leverage, all that. Learning how to feel openings for attack and all. And he was asking me how a certain technique could be applied, and I made mention that it's in the transition, you see. Man, forgive me for this terrible reference, but it's like that Dave Matthews song, The Space Between. It's the spaces between. Fuck Dave Matthews. It's the spaces between where we find our opportunities of attack. And there are certainly exceptions to the rule, there are certainly nuances that can be played with and whatnot, but it's in the moments of transition, not at the very end of the attack, not at the very beginning of the attack, not at the one structure or the following structure, but in the moments between where we are moving, where we are transitioning. It is the transitional points where we are most vulnerable because we are not in a set position. Our balance is shifted and remains shifted until we reach the next position. And this may be split seconds, but it is the transitional moments where we are weakest and where you should be seeking your opportunities to attack. Now, granted, if you are significantly more powerful than the structure or the creature that you're going up against, you may not have to wait so long. Like I said, there are exceptions. But in general, good strategy, good tactics are to attack the points that require the least amount of effort. Even in throwing and whatnot, we destabilize the person before we heave them over, right? You can't just take somebody who's in a solid stance and push him over. You have to find the right angle where he is able to be destabilized, where he will be forced to shift his weight, and in the moment that he's shifting his weight, then take him over. Same thing with your striking. You don't really strike somebody when they're in their guard unless you are just really savvy at taking angles and being unexpected. And generally speaking, you don't punch somebody, you really can't. I'm not going to say that. You can punch somebody while you're being punched in the face. It's entirely possible. I've done it, and it's been done to me. But it's not the best strategy. It's a reactionary tactic. The better strategy is to feel out their timing, and as they are in their moment between, either intercept or follow. And that's where you find your successful moves. So just keep this in mind. It's the idea of joints, transitions. It is the points between the structure, the points between the movement, or the final points of movements that will afford you your greatest opportunity of attack and success. That's all I got for you. I've rambled on enough. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Good journey.